Pretty doesn't mean capable, Mr. Collins sneered, his laughter echoing in my ears. In that moment, I felt my world shatter, but little did he know I was about to turn my humiliation into strength. Hi everyone, my name is Ella and I'm so excited to share my story with you. I'm 18 years old and living in a vibrant city where my dream of building a skincare brand came true. This journey has been filled with ups and downs, but I've learned so much about myself along the way. Join me as I take you through my experiences of struggle, determination, and ultimately finding my place in the world. Let's dive in. I walked into Mr. Collins' office, my heart pounding. I had been working here for over a year. I had done everything right, on-time reports, extra hours, and even coffee runs without complaints. I took a deep breath and knocked on the door. "Come in," he said. I opened the door slowly, trying to mask my nerves. "Mr. Collins, do you have a minute?" "Sure, Ella. What's up?" He leaned back in his chair, a smirk on his face. "I wanted to talk about my salary," I said, forcing the words out. "I think I deserve a raise." He chuckled, shaking his head. "You think so? Pretty doesn't mean capable, Ella." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean by that?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I mean, you're cute and all, but that doesn't translate to hard work or skills," he replied, still grinning. I felt hot tears prick my eyes. "I work hard. I put in extra hours." "Sure, but your work isn't that impressive, honestly," he said, waving his hand dismissively. "I can prove it," I shouted, surprising myself. "I've done great things for this company." Mr. Collins raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "Calm down. You're being too emotional, Ella." Emotional? Anger bubbled inside me. "I'm not emotional. I'm just frustrated." "I'd say you're just upset you didn't get the raise," he replied, brushing off my feelings. "Maybe try again later." I turned on my heel, feeling humiliated. How could he say those things? My coworkers respected me. Didn't that count for anything? Once I was home, I rushed to my parents. "You won't believe what happened." "What is it, Ella?" Mom asked, concern in her eyes. "I asked Mr. Collins for a raise, and he laughed at me," I exclaimed. "He said pretty doesn't mean capable." Dad frowned. "Maybe he has a point. You can be too emotional about work." "Dad, that's not fair," I cried. "The way Mr. Collins talked to me was just wrong." Mom sighed. "Ella, you know how men are in the workplace. They don't take us seriously." "But I work hard. Why can't anyone see that?" I protested. "Maybe you should just focus on doing your job better," Dad suggested. "Feeling angry won't help." "I'm not just going to sit back and let him treat me like that," I said, my fists clenching. "I'm capable of great things." "Like what?" Dad challenged, crossing his arms. "I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out," I replied, determined. Mom looked at Dad, then back at me. "Just be careful. You don't want to get into trouble." "I'm tired of being careful," I declared firmly. "I want to be respected." Silence hung in the air. My parents exchanged glances, but I didn't back down. "Ella," Mom started. "No, I need to stand up for myself. I deserve more. I'm not just a pretty face," I said, my heart racing with anger and determination. Okay, just think about it," Mom said softly. I turned away, feeling a mix of shame and fire inside. Could I really change how people saw me? I felt more determined than ever. I wouldn't let Mr. Collins win. I would prove him wrong. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall. My heart felt heavy. Quitting my job felt like a leap into darkness, but I was tired of being humiliated. "I can't do it anymore," I whispered to myself. The next day, I walked into the office, my head held high. I found Mr. Collins in his chair. "I'm resigning," I said. He looked up, surprised. "You're kidding, right?" No, I'm serious, I said, my voice steady. Ella, you'll regret this, he warned. I won't, I shot back. I don't want to work for someone who doesn't respect me. His smirk faded. Fine. Good luck with that. As I left the office, an odd mix of fear and freedom filled me. What was I going to do now? At home, I felt lost. I opened my laptop and searched for something, anything to distract me. That's when I found it, a skincare DIY video. The host smiled brightly, mixing ingredients in her kitchen. Let's make a face mask that clears your skin, she said cheerfully. Maybe I could try that, I thought. As I watched her mix yogurt, honey, and oatmeal, I felt calm. This looks fun, I said out loud, excited. I grabbed some ingredients from the kitchen and tried it. Here goes nothing, I said, stirring the mixture. I smeared the mask on my face and felt silly but happy. After rinsing it off, my skin felt amazing. Wow, that really worked. I cheered. Days turned into weeks as I dove deeper into skincare videos. I learned to make scrubs, serums, and even lip balms. One night, I had an idea. What if I start my own skincare brand? I thought, my heart racing at the thought. I grabbed my notebook and started brainstorming names. Glow Up Skincare, Pure Bliss, or maybe Ella's Essentials. The words flew onto the paper. But I needed money. How could I get it? That's when I remembered my friend Sam. I can ask Sam for help, I decided. I called her the next day. Hey, Sam, can I borrow $200? I said, trying to sound casual. Why? What do you need it for? She asked, curious. I want to start my own skincare line, I replied, excitement bubbling in my voice. You? A skincare line? That's awesome, she exclaimed. Of course, I'll lend you the money. Really? Thank you so much. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I believe in you, Ella. Just make it happen, she encouraged. With Sam's support, I felt ready to take on the world. I started experimenting with formulations, testing different scents and ingredients. This is my chance, I thought, mixing lavender oil into a batch of lotion. But doubt crept in. What if I fail? I questioned myself. Stop it, I said firmly. You're going to do this no matter what. I worked late into the nights, my small kitchen transforming into a mini lab of creativity. My dreams of a skincare brand were slowly becoming real. Every night, I'd look in the mirror and remind myself, you are capable, Ella. That dream felt alive now, burning brightly in my heart. I was ready to show the world what I could do. The first few weeks after launching my skincare line were not what I expected. I woke up every morning full of hope, but by lunchtime, that hope often faded. Why hasn't anyone bought anything? I mumbled, staring at the screen. I had set up an online shop, but my heart sank each day as I checked for sales. I've put so much work into this, I said to myself, frustrated. One rainy afternoon, I decided to check my email. That's when I saw a message from someone named Lisa, a mentor who had heard about my little brand. Let's chat online, it read. I couldn't believe it. Someone wanted to help me. I quickly typed a reply. Yes, please. The next day, we met over video chat. Hi, Ella. I'm so excited to talk, Lisa said with a warm smile. I saw your website. It looks good, but it can be better. Really? I've been struggling, I confessed, my heart racing. I understand. Every new business has its bumps, she said, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Let's work together. We spent the next hour going through my website step by step. You need better pictures. Show people how your products feel and smell, she advised. Okay, I said, feeling both nervous and excited. And use social media to your advantage. Post before and after pictures, she added, clapping her hands. People love visuals. Great idea. I can ask friends to try my products, I said, my spirits lifting. Exactly, Lisa said. Start small. Get feedback and improve. Don't be afraid of mistakes. After our call, I felt a spark of determination. I can do this, I told myself. With Lisa's tips in mind, I spent hours retaking photos. I bought some props like flowers and pretty towels to make my designs pop. Each click of the camera felt like progress. One evening, I was preparing some samples to send to friends. You'll love these, I said, packaging the jars carefully. As I sent them off, my heart raced with nervous energy. Then came the feedback. Ella, this face mask is amazing, my friend Sarah texted. My skin feels so soft. Really? That's great to hear, I replied, grinning from ear to ear. Encouraged, I posted their comments on my website and social media. Slowly, I began to see interest grow. One night, I got a notification. You have a new order. My heart skipped a beat. I sold something, I screamed, jumping up and down in my room. I rushed to call Sam. I sold my first product, I exclaimed, barely able to contain my excitement. Ella, I'm so proud of you, she cheered. Another order came in a few days later, and another. This is really happening, I whispered to myself, marveling at my growing success. With each sale, I felt a surge of hope. The doubts that had haunted me before began to fade. I was finally starting to find my footing. I can do this, I kept telling myself, more confident with each passing day. I had my mentor Lisa cheering me on, I had my friends supporting me, and best of all, I was learning and improving my products. Maybe I'm not just a pretty face, I whispered, smiling into the mirror. I'm a serious businesswoman now. With renewed passion, I set goals for myself, excited for the future. It was time to work even harder. I knew there would be more struggles ahead, but for now, I felt unstoppable. Years passed, and my little skincare brand, Ella's Essentials, turned into something bigger than I ever dreamed. The smell of fresh lavender and soothing eucalyptus filled my home office every day. I was constantly mixing new formulations, and my orders doubled every month. One evening, I sat at my desk, tallying up the numbers. Wow, $25,000 in sales this month, I shouted, almost not believing it. I ran downstairs to share the news. Mom, Dad, you won't believe this. I burst into the living room. What is it, Ella? Mom asked, looking up from her book. I hit $25,000 in sales this month. I'm really doing it, I shouted, my heart racing. Dad raised an eyebrow. That's impressive, Ella. Really? I could see the pride in his eyes, but I still remembered how skeptical he had been at the start. Thanks. This is just the beginning. Keep it up, he said, smiling. Days turned into weeks, and my brand continued to grow. My phone buzzed with messages day and night. Then one morning, I received an email that made my heart race. Is this real? I whispered. I read it over and over. A major retailer wanted to carry Ella's Essentials in their stores. Ella, are you okay? Sam asked, peeking over my shoulder. I just got an email. They want to meet. My voice trembled with excitement. Meet? Like for real? She asked, eyes wide. Yes, this could change everything. As the meeting day approached, I felt nerves twist in my stomach. What if I mess up? I thought, pacing my room. You've got this, I told myself, rehearsing my pitch for hours. When the day finally arrived, I wore my best outfit. I walked into the sleek conference room and stood in front of the retail executives, my heart pounding. Thank you for this opportunity. I believe Ella's Essentials can make a big impact on your shelves, I began, trying to sound confident. They nodded, their eyes sharp and focused. Tell us more about your brand, one of them said. I took a deep breath. My products are made with natural ingredients, free from harmful chemicals. They're designed for everyone, no matter their skin type. The executives exchanged glances. And your sales? One asked, leaning forward. Last month, we reached $25,000. In just a few years, we've grown significantly, I replied, confidence building with every word. They asked more questions, and I answered each one with passion. I could see their interest growing. By the end of the meeting, they smiled. We're impressed, Ella. We'd like to partner with you, one of them said. I could hardly believe my ears. Really? You're serious? I almost shouted. Yes, welcome to our retail family, he said, extending his hand. I shook it, the excitement bubbling in my chest. Thank you. I won't let you down. When I got home, I couldn't contain my excitement. Mom, Dad, I got the deal, I screamed. What deal? Dad asked, rushing in from the kitchen. I'm partnering with a major retailer. Mom jumped up, her eyes filled with tears. Oh, Ella, this is amazing. Thank you for believing in me, I said, overwhelmed with emotion. You showed us your determination. We're proud of you, Dad said, a hint of regret in his voice. I hugged them tightly, feeling their warmth and support. I couldn't have done it without you both, I told them, my voice muffled in their embrace. With each step forward, I felt as if I was becoming the person I always wanted to be. I had faced my fears, turned my dreams into reality, and now Ella's Essentials was valued at $25 million. I wasn't just a girl who was pretty, I was a young entrepreneur, and this was just the start of my journey. My phone buzzed one chilly morning as I sat in my office, sipping my favorite peppermint tea. I glanced at the screen. It was a notification about a new job application. I opened it, scrolling through each detail. My heart sank as I read the name, Mr. Collins. No way, I gasped, almost spilling my tea. I remembered the humiliation he had caused me, the laughter, the dismissive comments. Pretty doesn't mean capable. I could still hear his voice mocking me. Ella, are you okay? Sam asked, standing in the doorway. It's Mr. Collins. He applied to work here, I said, my voice barely a whisper. What? The same Mr. Collins? She stepped inside, her eyes wide with surprise. Yes. He wants to be a regional manager for Ella's Essentials, I said, trying to process it all. Should you interview him? Sam asked, raising her eyebrows. He was so awful to me, but I trailed off, torn between anger and curiosity. What are you thinking? She pressed. I think I should schedule the interview myself. I want to see him face to face. Sam nodded, her expression serious. That could be interesting. Later that day, I found myself at my computer, typing the interview details. My hands trembled a little. Why do I feel so nervous? I asked myself. I'm the boss now. When the day of the interview arrived, my heart raced. I stood outside the meeting room, taking deep breaths. You can do this, I told myself. I opened the door and smiled as I greeted Mr. Collins. Ella, he said, surprise etched on his face. Hello, Mr. Collins. Thank you for coming in, I replied, trying to keep my tone professional. He looked older than I remembered and not nearly as confident. You're the one running the show now, he asked, his voice a mix of disbelief and respect. Yes, I am. We've grown quite a bit over the past few years, I said, sitting down across from him. He glanced around the room, taking everything in. Wow, I didn't expect this. I could almost hear the wheels turning in his mind. I felt an odd mix of emotions, pride, anger, and even a bit of sympathy. So, why do you want to work with us? I asked, deciding to dive in. Honestly, I need a job. I was laid off, and I admire your brand. It's impressive, he admitted, his gaze dropping. Did you really just admire it, or did you underestimate it? I probed. He shifted in his chair, looking uncomfortable. I may have been wrong before, he admitted quietly. You think? I challenged lightly, leaning forward. You mistook my abilities based on my looks. I regret that, Ella. I was too quick to judge, he said, meeting my gaze. My heart softened just a bit. Well, this is your chance to change that perception, I replied. Show me what you can do as a leader. For the next hour, we discussed strategies, strengths, and weaknesses. As he spoke, I listened closely. There was a sincerity in his voice, a desire to learn from the past. By the end of our meeting, I felt a strange sense of closure. Thank you, Mr. Collins. I'll be in touch, I said, standing up. As he reached for the door, he turned back to look at me. I hope you can forgive my past mistakes. I know I don't deserve it, but I truly admire your journey, Ella. I nodded, surprised by the sincerity in his words. Thank you for saying that, I replied. As he walked out, I replayed our conversation in my mind. That was unexpected, I said to myself, feeling a mixture of relief and uncertainty. I realized that people can change, and I had grown too. I was no longer the girl seeking validation. Now I was a leader. As I sat back down at my desk, I felt proud of who I had become. Whatever happens next, I'll face it strong, I thought, smiling softly. The morning of Mr. Collins' interview arrived, and my stomach twisted with nerves. I looked at the clock ticking steadily on my wall. It's almost time, I whispered, pacing my office. I thought back to the conversation we'd had days before. Was this really a good idea? I wondered. My fingers drummed on my desk, and I felt conflicted. Should I face him, or should I walk away? Suddenly, I thought of all the times he made me feel less than enough. When he laughed at my request for a raise, how he dismissed me without a second thought. I don't owe him anything, I said aloud, surprising myself. I glanced at my reflection in the window. Maybe I don't need to show up, I thought. My success speaks for itself. I took a deep breath and looked outside. The sun was shining, but I felt heavy inside. I won't let him take my power, I reminded myself. Then a nagging thought popped into my mind. What if he's waiting for me, confused and anxious? I felt a flicker of guilt. Why is this so complicated? I groaned, running my fingers through my hair. I sank down into my chair and glanced at a blank piece of paper on my desk. I could write him a letter, I suddenly said, a spark igniting inside me. I wanted him to understand. I grabbed a pen and began to write. Dear Mr. Collins, today you came to me for an opportunity, but I want you to know something important. You once doubted my capabilities based on my looks. Your words stung, and I still remember them well. But I built something great on my own. Ellis Essentials is thriving, and I did that without your approval or support. I won't be interviewing you today. Instead, I want you to reflect on how you treat others. Success doesn't come from appearances, but from hard work and respect. I hope you find the growth you need. Sincerely, Ella. I felt a mix of relief and empowerment as I finished. Yes, that's it, I whispered to myself. I folded the letter neatly, feeling proud of the words I'd chosen. But as I sealed it in an envelope, doubt crept back in. Am I being too harsh? I wondered. Will he even get it? Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Sam. Hey, how did the interview go? I took a deep breath and typed back. I didn't go. I wrote him a letter instead. Wow, that's bold. I'm proud of you, she replied almost immediately. Thanks, but I hope I made the right decision, I wrote back, feeling anxious. I decided to slip the letter into my bag and drive over to the office where Mr. Collins was waiting. As I parked, I saw him sitting outside, looking bewildered. His hands were clasped tightly together, and he stared at the ground. I felt my heart race as I approached him. Mr. Collins, I called softly. He looked up, surprised. Yeah? I... I didn't think you'd show. I'm not here for an interview, I said, holding out the letter, but I thought you should read this. His face fell as he took the envelope from my hand. Oh, I see. Just think about what I wrote and best of luck, I said, turning to leave. He opened the letter, reading it through. I glanced back just in time to see a mix of confusion and realization wash over his face. My heart felt lighter as I walked away. I knew I had made the right choice. I didn't need to confront him one-on-one. My journey, my success, was the most powerful response, and as my car pulled away, I felt a sense of freedom. I believe in myself, and that's what matters most, I said aloud, a smile creeping on my face. As I walked away from Mr. Collins, I felt a mix of emotions swirling inside me. Did I do the right thing? I wondered, my heart pounding. I glanced down at the envelope still in his hand. I hoped he would take my words to heart. It wasn't just about the job, it was about recognition, respect, and finally standing up for myself. Once I reached my car, I sat in silence for a moment. I can't believe I finally did it, I murmured. My thoughts raced, reflecting on everything that had led me to this point. It feels good to say what I needed to say without confrontation, I admitted to myself. I'd written the letter carefully, pouring my heart into every word. Dear Mr. Collins, you once dismissed my abilities based on my looks. I want to remind you that pretty can become capable. I built Ella's Essentials from the ground up. I worked late nights, faced failures, and learned from my mistakes. My brand is worth $25 million now. I didn't need your approval to succeed. I hope you take time to reflect on your comments as I did. Treat people with respect and recognize their strengths, not just their appearances. Sincerely, yeah. Those words felt powerful. They flew off the page like a bird finally set free. Pretty became capable, I had written. It was like lifting a weight off my shoulders. Driving home, I gazed at the streets passing by. I felt lighter. The sun was bright and the world seemed more vibrant. I had faced a part of my past, and now I was ready for the future. Arriving at home, I walked through the door and took a deep breath. I'm finally moving on, I said aloud, filling the empty space with hope. I dropped my bag on the table and headed to the kitchen. As I poured myself a glass of water, I reflected on how far I had come. This is just the beginning, I told myself. Just then, my phone buzzed again. It was Sam. How are you feeling? She asked. Surprisingly good, I replied, smiling. I think writing that letter was the best choice. You know, I'm really proud of you, she typed back. You stood up for yourself. I realized I don't need to confront people face to face to be strong, I said, feeling more confident. I can be proud of my journey without needing their approval. Exactly. You've done amazing things, she encouraged. I decided to share my plans for the future. I'm working on eco-friendly packaging for the brand too, I texted. I want to keep improving. I love that. See? You're not just pretty, you're capable and innovative. Thanks. That means a lot, I smiled. I felt a rush of excitement about new ideas flooding my mind. As the evening sun began to set, I sat down at my desk, inspired. I grabbed a notebook and got to work on my next product line. Let's do this, I whispered, my heart filled with determination. Each page filled with new ideas felt like a step forward. I wasn't just healing, I was growing. I was ready to push forward, excited about what lay ahead. As I wrote late into the night, I felt peace surround me. I realized that every struggle had shaped me, made me stronger. Pretty became capable, I repeated softly, a smile on my face. I was proud of myself, and I knew I had a bright future ahead. And with that, my heart was finally at ease. I was ready for whatever came next. I hope you enjoyed my journey from being underestimated to finding my voice. Have you ever faced a moment where someone doubted you? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your stories, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Remember, your strength can shine through any challenge.